Hey, what's up? Welcome to Kriscoart. My name is Chris Drini, and in this episode, we're gonna learn how to draw without knowing how to draw. So we're gonna actually look at techniques and really more like tricks and cheats to get portraits, to get mood boards, and since this is a filmmaking channel, of course, to create storyboards and find ways that without being Picasso, you can actually communicate something to your team that is very precise and that really expresses your idea that you're trying to create. So first video after the room conversion, which is pretty nice. I know it might not seem like a lot and I'm still kind of missing a little bit of paint in that corner. Hopefully it's not gonna bug you as much as it will bug me, but let's just try not to focus on that. Let's just ignore that for now. So storyboards, let's quickly talk about them. When do you need them? When do you not need them? Because just like any other filmmaker, literally take everything that I say with a grain of salt because filmmaking doesn't really have rules. It's only suggestions, and what has worked for some may not work for others. So again, storyboards is one of those things that is really up to preference, which I know is a bit controversial, but hear me out. Usually you do want storyboards. I mean, the simple and intuitive reason of why you would want storyboards is that the more that you plan, the less you fail, or the less failures you'll have on set when it's time to shoot and you have a billion things going through your head. So kind of decluttering that in a process that has happened beforehand can be really helpful, but not just for yourself, but also for the team that you have, so that your gaffer knows what's happening, your DP, art department, however many moving pieces you have, they need to understand exactly what's in your head, and storyboards are a great way to visualize that. Okay, so when do you not need storyboards? I think sometimes planning can hurt your production depending on what production and what the intentions behind that production are. For example, a lot of documentaries, maybe you want to rely more on the spontaneity of the moment and even what the characters in the evolving story that a documentary could have, what they want to offer and bring to the table, what actions they might take. So keeping your storytelling sort of malleable to those changes and adaptive, a lot of times that's not very compatible with a locked-in, premeditated storyboard plan. And there's a lot of other examples like this. You could be dealing with, comedic improv or any other kind of, again, more genuine and spontaneous type of moments to capture that you can't really plan for. But most of us are not in that realm. They're not doing some avant-garde, experimental thing or trying to get this super pure documentary. Most of us are just trying to express our vision to a team to make it happen. Okay, so where do we start and how do we do it? Now, believe it or not, you won't need paper or even a tablet at first. It starts with a camera. Any camera, could be your cell phone camera or your tablet camera, doesn't matter. You just need to start with a good point of reference so that you're not drawing and trying to get the proportions right and trying to not make everything look like a bunch of deformed aliens. So this is just a simple way, a simple trick really to get you past art school and all of that stuff that can a lot of times get in the way of you telling your story. So let's take an example. I wanted to create a backstory to how I came up with the idea of the short film Once in a Lifetime. So the idea came to me when I was awakened from my sleep from a stewardess on the airplane, and she just told me to look out the window. Aside from the beautiful sunset, another plane was cruising right alongside us. And she remarked how special this occurrence was and how it can happen once in a lifetime. And that, for some weird reason, was the spark to a deeply personal and emotional story that had nothing to do with planes or flying. So from a rough draft to notes to script to a storyboard, Once in a Lifetime was conceptualized. So aside from the actual short film, which I've done storyboards for, we've talked about it before, let's pay attention to this moment in time, just a moment of inspiration, this sort of backstory, and let's turn that into a story, into storyboards. And now the nice thing is that during this trip, I didn't have to get up and take photos and look like a crazy person on this airplane. I could simply Google image photos of interior airplanes that were similar to what I could recall from memory and find photos that kind of match the angle that I was looking for. And that makes things a whole lot easier. You can definitely rely on Google for that. But a lot of times, which is something that's good to do regardless, is to go on location beforehand, do a location scout. And when you are scouting your location, take photos. Take photos of also how you are thinking of framing things. That is a very good starting point as far as brainstorming and testing things out that are maybe in the early stage, and you can see if they actually match up with the space. And if you take reference photos, you can also use those shots and those photos that you're taking during your location scout to create better storyboards. And by the way, you don't have to have your actors act out the scene. As long as you have a solid look of your environment, you can reenact those things later, not even with your actors. You could also take pictures of yourself sitting down, reenacting whatever it is that your scene has. And then you can do a very basic stitching together of the location of photos with the photos of you in your apartment or wherever, reenacting what your characters will do in those scenes. If you can combine those very roughly and bring them into apps on a tablet like Procreate or Adobe Sketch, you can then start to trace over these elements. And that's essentially the whole trick of this video. That's essentially how you can bypass some of the more intricate and complicated sides of drawing from scratch and just get to communicating your ideas effectively. So we have our photos. Now let's take them to our iPad. I can even take screenshots from a clip I shot, or just use photos and just airdrop them into my iPad. And then from there, you can use a variety of apps, some free and some not. I use Adobe Sketch, for example, and Procreate for this process, which are both apps that are great, fully compatible with Photoshop. And I must say that my favorite one out of the two is Procreate, but you can use whatever you want. The steps are pretty much the same. So let's bring in our photo composite and let's create a new layer over that. I'm going to pick a studio pen brush, but you can use whatever. I just like the inking feel that this one has, especially for creating outlines. And then here comes the magic. All you need to do is literally trace over the parts of the image that you want, and that's it. Literally, it's that simple. Now, keep in mind that most tablet pens are pressure sensitive, so the more that you press, the thicker it gets. And you can also adjust the sensitivity settings all the way to how it tapers off and all that stuff. And you have a lot of options really for different types of brushes, textures, patterns. Procreate specifically has all this stuff ready to go, and I personally never felt the need to use anything more than this, so it's nice when something just comes ready to go. And by the way, I know this is starting to sound like this episode is sponsored by Procreate, but it's not. I just really love the app and it's what I use. Okay, so we definitely took this kind of far. I don't think you have to go anywhere near as complex as this, even though this isn't really complex, but you get the point. Storyboards really could be super basic. And also, a quick side note, don't think that you have to have a tablet and do all these kind of steps. Sometimes the best way to get an idea down is just the old school way, pen and paper, get it roughly in. And again, you can jump into this idea as a later polish to, again, communicate that in a better way. With that being said, let's have some more fun with this. Let's add some shadows, let's add some lights. And this is not the traditional thing to include into storyboards, but if you're a filmmaker like me that is a control freak and that really wants to have control of the planning as far as lighting and all those other things, which is kind of unusual. Usually director, DP, different relationships, but those lines get blurred for me. So I like to include some of that information, some of those ideas ahead of time on paper. Now, this is good to do for DPs with lighting plots and all that, but just to add more detail, just to add some further dimension and shape to our characters, to our scene, I'm gonna add some light and shadow touches. And you can do this just by creating a new layer, and you can even set this to be underneath the outline layer. And now I can just simply add some edge lighting, I can add some highlights, stuff that again can give us a sense of what kind of light is hitting our subjects, what color, how much of it, is it hard, is it more of a soft light? And this part has less to do with tracing and more with observing how light behaves and trying to simplify that and kind of communicate those ideas with just brighter and darker colors. That's essentially what you're doing with this. Again, this is an extra step, but I really like having my boards also express a little bit of the lighting, and this is also a great way to kind of get a sense of the mood of a slight bit of a color palette. Again, this isn't usually done in storyboards, but I like to do it, and it's something that I've been increasingly doing, especially with the use of tablets, it makes everything easier. So this is just my preference, but I think it's just an interesting little thing that you can do, especially for indie filmmakers that wear multiple hats in the planning stage. This could be fun. And again, all we're doing is just doodling, and it's just a good way to get ideas out, especially with things that could be pretty complicated like lighting and getting a sense of also what kind of setups you want to do for that. So there we go. That's pretty much my process in creating these sort of storyboards that have helped me a lot. You guys just trust me, this is good to do most times. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. And by the way, don't take it so seriously. All this is just drawing, and just, you know, enjoy it. Enjoy this process of taking things off your mind and drawing them out on paper. Make it your downtime, you know, chill out with it. Treat it as it is. It's a lot of fun, and it's the first steps in unwinding your story, which is super exciting. That's the start of it all. So have fun with it. And if this isn't your thing, by the way, if you just don't want to draw and, you know, you just don't want to go through any of this, even if this is pretty simple, you don't have to. You know, just find people that are compatible with you, that understand your vision, that can make you feel comfortable with sharing your vision, and just find someone that does like to draw and you know, hire them or have them help you out, and that's okay too. And like I said, most of my storyboards were super rough. I mean, it's just a way to just get it down on paper. But since I'm moving into bigger and bigger productions, into kind of, you know, pitch meetings and all this side of stuff, I decided to kind of step things up a little bit more in terms of the pre-visualization of my stories. And I wanted to share that process with you, since I think it's pretty useful to get these results without really just spending a ton of hours on everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you did enjoy it, and share with a friend if you found it useful, and subscribe for more filmmaking videos. Maybe not like this one, it's different every time, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. And check out Yellow Images. Don't forget that there's that discount code in the description just for you guys. And yeah, with that being said, my name is Kriscoart for Kriscoart, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Songs talk about flying away, but you always land in the same damn place. Say, fill my glass up one more time, drinking airport wine.
Alright, thank you for making it this far into the video. If you want to watch something else, I just released 2 music videos, 2 very intense projects that are very different from each other, along with full breakdowns of everything. And I'm proud to say that I use my own packs for these projects, so if you want to check them out, both the new pack Particles and Vintage Light Effects are available for purchase at Kriscoart.com.